Hi everyone, welcome. FPLMattDay here, and this is my Game Week 18 latest tips video. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button. Be sure to like the video and get any questions and comments in already ahead of an early deadline this week, which is Thursday night in the UK and Friday morning over here in Australia. I'll start off and share screen to go into my first tip of Game Week 18. So let's get this screen shared and I can go through my first tip, and you can see Spurs players are on the screen, and that's because there is players in this team to target. And I know Spurs have a tricky tie. It's at home to Everton. Everton unbeaten, I think, is it their last four now without conceding a goal. But Spurs play some very good football, and I think there's a lot of potential in this Christmas run. And this man here, you can see there, Dejan Kulusevski, 14 points in his last game week. Didn't score in the preceding game weeks before that, but he got 12 points away at Man City before. So when he does hit, he hits big, averaging 4.5 points per game, 7.1 million, only 4% owned currently, makes him a really good differential. And he's playing in and around behind the forward line at times and also cutting in off the right. So he's playing a bit of a hybrid role. And he's getting very involved and on the ball. So Kulusevski is a great pick. You've also got Pedro Porro here. Finally got his clean sheet on the weekend. But have a look at that. All of those returns you can see there on screen. Let's zoom in a little bit more. But 8 points against Forest, 5 against Newcastle, 5 against West Ham, 5 against Villa, 5 against Wolves. And he conceded goals in a number of those games as well. And he still managed to get returns. So very impressive from Pedro Porro. So he's another Spurs player to target if you're light in defence. And then another one I really like is obviously Richarlison, who's now occupying that centre forward role. 9 points in his last game week for Spurs. In that central position as well, he's going to get his head on plenty of chances. Spurs love to put balls in the box, across the box as well. So he's going to hope to get on the end of them. So great pick for this coming game week. We'll go on to my second tip for the game week, and it's going to be captains. And look, I'll go through a couple. One's obviously here on screen. Son, very good when it comes to scoring big home hauls for Spurs. So he's definitely a captain option. We'll go to Aston Villa because for me, they've got a captain option in there as well this week. And it's that man at the top right here, Ollie Watkins, at home to Sheffield United, 6.4 points per game. He's going to be a very popular captain pick this week. But one that I think, really might just fly under the radar because he was suspended in the last game week. Luton away for Kieran Trippier, 5.1 points per game. Have a look at some of his history here. Some massive hauls. You've got an 18-point haul there away at Sheffield United, which is obviously a promoted team this season. So Kieran Trippier offers great potential as a captain this week. And his ownership, 42.7% owned as well. So for managers like myself who don't have him, I'm very worried at that prospect of not having Kieran Trippier this week. My next tip, and I did mention this before, Aston Villa, but we'll go in there now. And I know there's a lot of managers who still own this man here, Matt Cash, who did start on the weekend at right midfield, did get subbed as well. He didn't look that great, but there's a lot of managers who've still kept hold of him, keeping the faith. He's had price reductions as well, and it's his Sheffield United home fixture that a lot of managers are keeping him for. And my recommendation right now is just keep an eye on some press conferences from Villa because Pau Torres here has got a yellow flag, and if that means he's not going to play, then there's probably a high chance that Konsa goes to centre-back with Carlos. There's also an injury to Camara, a suspension for Camara, and it then may mean Cash goes into right-back, and then it will be a choice between Moreno and Digne at left-back. Surely they'd want to stick Cash at right-back instead of playing one of the left-footers. So for me, wait and see on Matt Cash and see how that press conference goes before taking him out, because if Pau Torres isn't fit, we could see Matt Cash in the lineup. And my next tip, you can see I've gone to Arsenal here, and I'm going to talk about Saka. A lot of managers are very uncertain on Saka at the moment in terms of his points returns. If you have a look at that, 3 points at home to Brighton, 2 against Villa, 5 against Luton. That's in the last 3. not great returns, especially when you've got the likes of Kulusevski, Richarlison, all looking hot in form with a good fixture this week. And Saka's got this tough Liverpool away fixture. But I think with the threat that he may still take some pens, you've got to keep hold of him, especially with this run of games that are coming up here. West Ham at home, Fulham away, Palace home, Forest away. So I think there's enough potential, there's enough upside in keeping Saka during a favourable Christmas run for Arsenal. So for me, keep hold of him for now. And then my last tip for Game Week 18 will go to Manchester City, who are not playing in this game week because it is a blank game week for them in Brentford because Man City were in the World Club Championship. And that's this man here, currently out with a stress fracture. Where just keep an eye on him. What I'm going to say is wait for some sort of outcome. I would keep him on the bench for Game Week 18. Wait for an outcome. See if he plays any minutes in this Club World Cup. See if he trains during this Club World Cup. I believe he has travelled over there. So if we see pictures of him in training and he gets some minutes or he scores a crucial goal, then you'd expect him to then come back for Game Week 19 against Everton. If we're not getting that sort of news by Game Week 19 that Haaland's looking good to go, I would then potentially look to maybe dispose him then, especially if it looks to be a bit more long-term. But for now, I think it could still be a potential hold, because if you can get him in ready for Game Week 19 and Game Week 20 with some of these fixtures for City there with Everton and Sheffield United, then I think it's worth keeping hold of him. So there you have it. That is my latest tips for FPL Game Week 18. Do not forget the early deadline this week. Be sure to like the video, get your comments in, and subscribe as always if you're new to the channel. I'll leave you all there. Thanks to everyone. I'm FPLMattDay, and I will see you all in the next one. Good luck for the game week. Bye for now.